Hello everyone, welcome to our FSTN Academy. So in FSTN Academy, this is your first class, starting with the first chapter of your syllabus, Food and Nutrition syllabus. The first chapter is basic concept of food, nutrition, nutrients and the nutrition science. So in the first class of your food and nutrition, already you have got an idea from the introduction class that what should you learn from these chapters and all, and what will you will become knowledgeable about completion of class 11 and 12 about the food and nutrition subject. So from the semester 1, the first chapter, the first class, you will become knowledgeable about what is we are taking continuously as a food and how they works in our body, and what are the benefits of that food and what are the harmful effects of the foods or some non-food item, and what are the other component which consist of every foods, and how we classify them, and what is the relation between food and nutrients, because as we have to know the nutrients are the main functional part of any food item. So what is the role, what are the role of that food nutrients, and what is the relation while we are taking food, it means we are taking nutrients, but while we are taking nutrients, does it called food? So you have to know the basic difference between food and the nutrients. So the firstly you have to know what is the food. The term is known as the food is the term, it means it can be solid particles, it means any solid particles that what is edible. So every edible solid particle, it can be a liquid solution, or it can be semi liquid. So any edible, liquid, semi liquid, or the solid particle known as food. Does it really? So actually what are the edible, solid, liquid, semi liquid, whatever the particle it is, it must be ingested from our digestive tract. So it must be go through some steps that should follow a food, that should follow by a food. So it must be ingested through our digestive tract, ingested. So next step will be digestion. So a food must go through from digestion, and it must go through from absorption, and after the absorption it must be utilized through our body. So utilize means it must have any metabolic role. Metabolic role means it must be some beneficial part. So metabolize is very important, just like utilize. So utilize means metabolism is very important. So what are the component consist of any food that must be ingested, digested, absorbed, and then utilized, means metabolized, means the food must create some energies, some other metabolic functions like cell development, wound repairment, bone development, or any creations of our body. And the another part, another functional part of any food, that means it will give us the defensive mechanism in our body. It means we have to fight against any foreign particle, like disease, like any microbiomes, like any enemy foreign particle, we have to fight against that. And why, from where we will find those energy and those capability? From food, because food must be provide those beneficial part to our body. So it means in this way I will give you some functions of food. So now whatever the consistency or the quality of the food particle, it must be ingested, digested, absorbed, and the utilized, and it goes through from mouth to anus, and the undigested part should be eliminate. So whatever the part should be ingested and other indigested part should be eliminate from our indigested part should be eliminate from our body. So it means our total cycle of our food is goes through in our body. Next, I will go for the functions of food. Functions of food means it will show some beneficial action in our body according to our human physiology. It means why we should intake food. We all know for providing us energy. So in a food should be energy providing, or whatever. What are the other options of the food? It means it will provide us the immune deficiency. Immune immunity. The provide immunity providing. So food should be energy providing, immunity providing, and what are the other functions? It will help us to building the body cells and other components. So every building blocks will be formed through food. And what are the components that actually form these that actually perform these functions in our body? So before going to that part, the nutrient part, I will actually explain the classification of food according to which part we have to classify the food items or the food nutrients. So before going to any classification, I want to know from all of you that is this the only three functions that performs by the food? I think you will answer no, because the other functions are very important but not mentioned here. These are the actually very important and very basic function of any food. Actually, we intake food for this purpose, actually for this purpose only. But there are some unnoticed functions of food also. Food actually gives us some dopamine secretion. It means it enhance our mood, it lifts our mood, and there are some other physiological functions also. It means there are some food, those are not energy providing, those are not immunity providing, and those are not also some cell building food. But what are the benefits of some food items? Actually, all of those food items actually give us some physiological functions. It means if there is some physiological issue, for solving those specific physiological issue, there are some specific food items. It means if I talk about psyllium husk, what is this? Actually, there is a high fiber food item. It actually helps us to solve the constipation issues. So to solve the constipation issues, we actually go for this food item, but this food item has no other functions just like these. So there are some physiological functions also, and that will benefited by some specific food items. Those are containing some specific food nutrients. So what are those nutrients? Actually, those are not giving these kind of functions, but giving some specific physiological functions benefit. So we are going to know all of this classification. So next I will go for the classification of food item, and according to which we are classify them, I will also mention here. So if I classify the food item according to our physiological function, what will be those? Actually, you have already knows those physiological functions. It means one is energy yielding, You already knows what are the foods that are energy yielding. What are the foods? Actually, we take the cereal based food, means the rice, the rotis, the ghee, makhans, parathas. We take all of these food items for what? For gaining some energy. And there are some any other foods also, like uh, fish, meat, egg, paneer, dahi. What are the benefits of those food intakes? It means that will help us to build cells. It means it will build the cell generating or cell regenerating and the wound healing. These are the properties of some food items. It means it will benefits our body from building our body and some wound healing and some other functions also there from foods, like some immunity giving, so defensive mechanism against the diseases. So these are also functions of food. Against disease. So these are the main function of food. If we classify the food according to the physiological function, the physiological function will be done by energy yielding, it will be done by cell generating, cell regeneration, wound healing, and the defensive mechanism against the diseases. These are the main physiological functions of the food. So we automatically classify the food. It means the energy giving food, just like I have gave you example. And if we go for the bodybuilding food, it will shows the example like fish, meat, egg, chicken, and these kind of foods are the the bodybuilding food. And if we go for these functional part, we will automatically say that the disease prevention food. It means fruits, vegetables. These are the defensive mechanism against the disease will perform by these foods. So according to the physiological function, we will classify the food items just like this. And I will go for the next classification of food. That is very easy to know, that we can classify the food according to the source. So next I will go for the food item classification according to the source. We all know there are two sources of our food item. One is plant source, this is the main source of any food item, and the second is animal source. So animal source are those who are give us the most energy dense food items. So these are the two types of food source, that is one is plant source and second is the animal source. And then I will go for this another very important classification of food. Do you know what is that? Guess, what is that? What is the another classification of food? The basic components present in the food item. These are the basic classification of food. Actually, you have already wondered that what are the food nutrients that gives us so much benefits, and we found so much benefit from the foods. According to those nutrient presence in the food, we can classify those food items. So based on the presence of the nutrients, we can classify the food items accordingly. So if we classify the food items, that is carbohydrate rich food. So it means it contains about the rich amount of carbohydrate. So carbohydrate rich food, just like which are the cereals and the sweet foods, those are the carbohydrate rich food. It can be any sweet fruit, it can be any grains, it can be any vegetables also. So these are the actually the carbohydrate rich food. So the component present in the food, we can classify the food item accordingly. So I think we should write here based on the presence of the component, not the nutrients. We actually going to know later in this part that what are the actually component present in the food. Actually, those components are known as the nutrients. So from the introduction class, you have already know that the nutrients are the main components, but later in your chapter we will automatically know actually the components. Firstly we have to know the components rich food, and then you will become knowledgeable about those components, means those nutrients. So firstly I will go for the first component, that is carbohydrate. And second, I will mention the protein rich food, that also I have mentioned, that is fish, meat, chicken, egg, protein, milk. These are the protein rich food, and the pulses also, the nuts and seeds also, the protein rich food. Next I will go for the fat rich food. Then I will mention the fiber rich food. Then I will mention water rich food, and I will mention the sixth and seventh part of the nutrients. You all know I haven't already mentioned those very important food items. Those are the vitamin rich food and the minerals rich food. These are the main food item, the food nutrients that presents in the food that will benefit us by defensive mechanism against the diseases and the harmful microbiomes. So based on the presence of the components, we can classify the food in these 7 types. So this point also become very clear to everyone, I think so, that the classification of food actually we have done in 3 ways. So these 3 ways are, one is from according to the physiological function, second is based on the source, and the third is based on the presence of the components in the food items. So in these 3 types of classification, we actually already know the wide family of the food items. Now you will know about the what are the main features of these food items. Actually these components or the nutrients, we have know the term from the classification of the food. Actually these are the nutrient present in the food. It means there are 2 types of nutrients. One is the macronutrients and the second is the micronutrients. I am classifying the nutrient part. Nutrient are 2 type. This nutrient part is classifying. I am classifying this nutrient part. One is macronutrient and the another is micronutrient. Macronutrient means carbohydrate, protein, fat. We need a very large amount in our body. So for this reason, this term is known as macro, means large. So carbohydrate, protein and fat are the macronutrients. And what are the micronutrients? Which are needed very small amount in our body but performs very significant role in our body. What are those nutrients? Those nutrients are fiber, water, actually the vitamin and the minerals. So micronutrients are known as vitamins, minerals, fiber and water. So these are the micronutrients of our body. So you have know the nutrient part from this section, and you have know the food part, and you have know the functions of the food. Now I will go for the relation between the food and the nutrients. After completion of these 4 topics, actually you already know you can classify, you can define by your own what are the relation between food and nutrients. It means all food should be contain these nutrients, means all foods are nutrients, but if we take some nutrient from any of the food item, that doesn't mean we are intaking the food item. So all nutrients are not food, but all foods are nutrients. It means food gives us those functions, whatever the functions I have mentioned, the food provides us. It means the nutrient provides us those functions, but some other functions also given by those nutrients, but not from the food we are taking those benefits. So it means all foods are nutrients, but all nutrients are not food. This is the basic relation between food and the nutrients. So here I am ending today's class of your first semester of class 11, the first chapter of your semester 1 syllabus. I have completed this part and I will go for the next part in the next class. Thank you everyone.